What's happening inside your dog's mind? And you've heard it 100 times. He pulls on the leash because he wants to be in charge. He walks through the door first because he's claiming control. He won't sit because he's testing your authority. In this story, your dog is a tiny dictator in a fur coat, quietly plotting to run the house. And the fix everyone hands you is always the same. Dominate him. Be the alpha. Be the pack leader. Show him who's boss. Here's the problem. That entire picture of your dog's mind is fiction. The psychology behind it, the idea that your dog is wired to crave rank and power, was overturned roughly 30 years ago by the same researcher who made it famous. He published the correction. He went on the record. He even tried to get his own best-selling book pulled off the shelves. And trainers, real ones you might pay good money to, are still selling you that fictional dog today. So by the end of this video, you're going to understand 3 things: where this idea about your dog's mind actually came from, why the man who invented it took it all back, and the part that should genuinely worry you: what happens inside a dog's head when you train him like he's a rival you have to defeat. Stick around for that last one. It's not what you'd guess, and there's hard data behind it. Because once you see what's really driving your dog, every confusing thing he does starts to make sense. So let's go find out where the lie about his mind was born. It starts with a man named Rudolf Schenkel, a behaviorist in the 1940s, who wanted to understand the social mind of the wolf. There was just one problem. You couldn't follow a wild wolf pack around the forest in 1947. No GPS collar, no drone, no way to track them. So Schenkel did the only thing he could. He went to the Basel Zoo in Switzerland and studied the wolves they kept there. And what he saw looked like a war fought. They formed a rigid pecking order. A top male and a top female threw their weight around and won the fights. Schenkel called them the alpha pair. Below them, everyone else, constantly jockeying to climb. It looked like a mind built for one thing: competition, status, dominance. It was a clean, dramatic story about the animal psyche. And it was completely wrong because of one detail. Those wolves in the Basel Zoo weren't a pack. They were strangers, unrelated adult animals, grabbed from different places and dropped into an enclosure together with nowhere to go. Now think about that psychologically. Take a dozen strangers, lock them in a single room, limit the food, and never let them leave. What you'd be measuring isn't their nature, it's their stress. You'd be studying the psychology of a prison and calling it the psychology of a family. That's the mistake at the bottom of everything. The fighting, the rank, the endless power struggle. That wasn't the wolf mind. It was the mind of a frightened, trapped animal. But nobody knew that yet. Schenkel's idea got written down. It got cited, and then a young American biologist picked it up and handed it to the entire world. And he is the most important person in this story because he made alpha a household word and then spent his whole career trying to take it back. His name is David Mech. And if the phrase alpha wolf is lodged in your brain right now, he's probably the reason. In 1970, Mech published a book called The Wolf: The Ecology and Behavior of an Endangered Species. It became the definitive wolf book. Required reading, and in it, leaning on Schenkel's captive wolves, he laid out the alpha mind, the dominant pair ruling by force, the hierarchy, the order kept through intimidation. This is the moment the myth escapes the zoo. And here's the psychological leap that changed millions of dogs' lives. People looked at the dog asleep on the couch and thought, well, dogs came from wolves. So a dog must have a wolf's mind. So my dog must be wired for dominance too. So I have to win. That single thought is the entire foundation of dominance dog training. The alpha role, the dominance down, eating before your dog so he learns his place. It all traces back, through Mech's book, to a handful of stressed-out strangers in a Swiss zoo. And for a while, Mech believed it. He'd put his name on it, but Mech was a field researcher. They go out and actually watch. So in the late 1980s, he went somewhere nobody had ever properly observed the wolf mind in the wild. And what he found didn't just tweak the theory, it detonated it. Let me take you to the island. Ellesmere Island, top of the Canadian Arctic, so remote and the wolves so unused to people that Mech could do something almost no one had done before. Live beside a wild pack and watch it, not for an afternoon, year after year. And the mind he observed looked nothing like the zoo. There were no strangers fighting for a throne, no bloody duels for rank. What he saw over and over was almost embarrassingly ordinary. It was a family, a wild wolf pack. It turns out, is just two parents and their kids, a breeding pair and their pups from the last couple of years, still living at home. The alpha pair everyone feared, that's not a warlord and his queen. That's mom and dad. They don't lead by dominate. They lead the way you lead a toddler across a parking lot, because they're the parents, and the young ones follow. The pups aren't clawing their way up a hierarchy. They're growing up, and then, like your kids, they move out and start families of their own. The psychology driving the pack isn't competition, it's care. Mech put it about as bluntly as a scientist can. He asked, essentially, what would even be the point of calling a human father the alpha male of his family? It's the wrong word for what's happening in that mind. It was never a dictatorship. It was a household. And here's where Mech does something genuinely rare. He decides to clean up the mess he helped make. In 1999, he publishes a paper specifically to correct the record, arguing the whole idea of alpha status doesn't describe wild wolves at all, because they aren't competing for rank, they're raising young. And then he goes after his own book. He asks his publisher to stop printing it, repeatedly, for years. His bestseller, the book his name is built on, and he's trying to get it pulled because he can't stand that it keeps teaching people something he knows is false. It finally goes out of print in 2022. So sit with that. The single most influential source for the dominant, power-hungry animal mind was disowned by its own author. Decades ago, in writing, which raises a question. If the wolf science collapsed, why does your dog trainer still talk like it's 1975? We'll get there. But first, there's a second crack in this. And for your dog, it's even bigger. Here's what I find almost funny. Even if the alpha wolf mind had been real, even if wild wolves did obsess over rank, applying it to your dog would still be wrong. Because of a second mistake, nobody checked. The whole idea assumes your dog has a wolf's mind in a smaller body, that whatever's true up there is true for him. But dogs and wolves split apart a very long time ago. Tens of thousands of years of evolving alongside us, not against us. We didn't just shrink the wolf, we rewired the psychology. Generation after generation, we selected for the dogs that cooperated, that read us, that wanted to be near us. So your dog isn't running a wolf software. He's running something we built with him, a mind tuned, more than any other animal on earth, to watch the human face and look to us for answers. That's the dog you actually live with. He is not scheming to overthrow you. He doesn't want your throne. He doesn't believe there is a throne. When he pulls on the leash, he's not staging a coup. Pulling works. It gets him to the smell faster, and no one taught him a better option. When he bolts through the door, he's not seizing territory. He's excited, and the door is open. There's no power struggle inside his head. There never was. We invented the war, and then declared ourselves the winner. So now, there are two cracks in the foundation. The wolf science was wrong, and your dog doesn't have a wolf's mind anyway. The story about his psychology is wrong twice, and yet the advice survives. The alpha role survives. Why? The honest answer is uncomfortable, and it's tangled up with the part I promised would worry you. So let's open that box. What actually happens inside a dog's mind when you train him this way? This is the part the Be the Alpha crowd never talks about. Because once you decide your dog is a rival who must be dominated, the methods write themselves. You pin him, you roll him, you stare him down, you grab his scruff, you win. So researchers asked the question nobody selling dominance wanted asked. When owners use those confrontational methods, what does the dog do? A team at the University of Pennsylvania surveyed dog owners about the techniques they'd tried and how their dogs responded. And the numbers are brutal. Hit or kick the dog. 43% responded with aggression. Growl at your dog. 41%. The alpha roll, the signature move, The one from the start of this video, 31% of dogs responded with aggression. The dominance down, 29%. Grab the jowls and shake, 26%. Read that again. You attempt the move that's supposed to make you the calm, in-control leader, and roughly 1 in 3 dogs answers with a bite, a snap, or a growl. Now hold that against the other approach. Reward-based methods, asking for a sit, trading a treat for the thing in his mouth. The aggressive response there ran from basically 0 to around 6%. Ask for a sit, 2%. Some methods, 0. So here's the punchline, and it's the whole video in one sentence. The training that promises to fix aggression is one of the most reliable ways to create it. And psychologically, that makes perfect sense. Walk up to a nervous animal and threaten it, pin it, corner it, and it does the one thing any frightened mind does. It defends itself. You didn't earn respect. You taught your dog a new association, that you are a source of fear, and fear is the exact emotional state that aggression grows out of. This isn't a fringe opinion. The American Veterinary Society of Animal Behavior, the actual experts in animal behavior, looked at the evidence and were blunt. Use reward-based methods only. Aversive, dominant-style tools harm the animal's emotional welfare and damage the bond between you. And there's no evidence they work better. They even tell vets not to refer clients to trainers who preach dominance. The science isn't split on this. It's settled. The intimidation model lost. Which brings us back to the question. If Mech recanted in the 90s, if your dog doesn't have a wolf's mind, if the data says dominance training backfires, why is it still everywhere? 3 reasons. And they're about human psychology now. 1. Television. The myth got a second life on screen, where a charismatic trainer pins and calms a dog in a single dramatic segment. It's gripping to watch. It's also exactly the kind of confrontational method the research flags as risky. Good television is not the same thing as a healthy dog. 2. It's simple. And the human mind loves a simple story with a villain. Your dog is dominating you. Take control. That gives you a bad guy, your dog, and a hero, you. The real explanation is quieter. He's anxious, or he's never been taught. Less satisfying, more true. 3, and this is the one that matters most for your dog. Sometimes it looks like it works. You pin the growling dog, the growling stops. Victory, right? Except you didn't change how he feels. You just punished the warning. In his mind, growling now leads to something frightening. So next time he may skip the growl entirely and go straight to the bite with no warning at all. The fear didn't leave. It went silent. And a silent fear feels like success right up until the day it isn't. That's how a broken idea survives 30 years. Gripping TV, a simple story, and a fix that hides what's happening in the dog's mind instead of healing it. So let's bring it home. The dominant, power-hungry dog was born in a zoo full of stressed strangers, not a real pack. The scientist who sold us that mind spent his later life dismantling it. Your dog doesn't have a wolf's psychology anyway, and the training built on the whole thing doesn't just fail. It manufactures the very fear and aggression it claims to cure. Here's the reframe that changes everything, and it's the whole point of this channel. You are not your dog's rival. You're the most important thing in his world to learn from. He isn't climbing a ladder to overthrow you. He's a feeling, learning mind trying to work out what keeps him safe and what gets him good things. So show him. Reward what you want. Make the right choice, the easy, obvious one, and you'll get a dog who chooses to listen, instead of one who's just afraid not to. That's not soft. That's just understanding what's actually in his head. If this changed how you see your dog, if you've ever pinned one or been told to, do one thing. Share this with the person in your life who still says you've got to show him who's alpha. That idea has outlived the science by 30 years because people keep passing it down. You can be where it stops. And subscribe, because that's the whole mission here. Getting inside your dog's mind, one myth at a time. Because if Be the Alpha was a lie, so is the next one. The belief that treats are bribery, that a dog trained with food only obeys for the food. The truth about how your dog's mind actually learns is far stranger and far more useful. And it will change how you treat every dog you ever meet. It's right here. Go.